G'day guys and welcome back to Aussie Gamer. Now I've just watched the Microsoft conference and I have to say I'm absolutely blown away with what the guys at Microsoft were actually able to deliver this E3. So let's talk about the games first up, because of all the things that I probably wasn't as impressed with, or as impressed as I thought I would be, it's probably the games, because I think Microsoft played it really safely this E3. There weren't a hell of a lot of surprises today when it actually comes to games, so let's just rattle through a couple. We had Halo 5 Guardians, and that was the lead game that Microsoft kicked off the show. So Bonnie Ross actually came out and introduced Halo 5 Guardians first up. So that looked pretty cool. So we actually got to see some gameplay footage, and I absolutely love that. I think, you know, no more CG stuff. We just want to see real gameplay. So it looks phenomenal. They showed or followed the story of Agent Locke, or Spartan Locke, and that looks pretty compelling and pretty cool. So definitely a game that I will absolutely be purchasing. Now also showcased was a new multiplayer mode for Halo called Warzone. So it's basically described in the trailer as a player versus everything experience with up to 24 players, AI adversaries, so there's new vehicles, one of which in my opinion looked a bit like a mech, and Warzone is described by 343's Josh Holmes as a giant leap for Halo multiplayer where everything is possible. So it looks phenomenal, and again, I can't wait to play it. Now that was just the lead introduction. Now normally in any given year that would be enough, that would be the megaton announcement, but no, the guys at Microsoft for Xbox and Windows 10 just kept going. So a new IP coming, which is called Recourt. It basically looks like you can sort of rip the energy source out of a robot and then go and put it into something else, and that continues the life of that robot. So it's kind of a, I guess, a shooter, an exploration adventure game. I'm not 100% sure. It looks interesting. I won't say it looks cool, because I just want to see a little bit more before I cast judgment on how good or bad this game may or may not be. So there you go. Now Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I did a video I think a couple of days ago where I was just questioning, you know, do we need it? Yes or no? Look, it looks cool. It looks like they are refreshing that game a little bit and adding a few new elements to it, which I guess is kind of cool, but again, I'm on the fence. You know, look, if you love Plants vs Zombies, you're going to be happy with Garden Warfare 2. For me, it's just another shooter, probably aimed more towards the tweens, you know, the kids or the people in their early teenage years. So that's just my opinion. Forza Motorsport 6 got another run, and they actually dropped the Ford GT from the roof, which was pretty damn awesome. And again, that game is confirmed to be 1080p 60 frames per second, so absolutely stunning in terms of the visuals, and I'm sure it will be absolutely fantastic when it launches later in the year. Now, another cool announcement was Dark Souls 3. That looks really awesome, and I'm so glad it's coming to consoles. I think it is one of those games that if you're a PC gamer traditionally, you're trying to get into consoles, it's a must-have game. Alright, moving on. So The Division. So The Division has been teased for months and months and months. I remember seeing it at previous E3s. It's finally getting closer. Now, one of the cool things they've announced for the Xbox One is that there will be an exclusive beta coming in December. So if you've got an Xbox One, that is absolutely huge news, because I think The Division is going to be one of those games that could be Game of the Year come 2016 review time. I think absolutely it's got some serious potential to deliver something really special. Now, another game from the Tom Clancy series is Rainbow Six Siege, and one of the really cool things they announced is that the previous Tom Clancy games that were available on the 360 will be included as part of Rainbow Six Siege. So I think that's pretty damn cool. So they talked a bit about Gigantic, Cuphead, which I know is huge in the US, DayZ, which is a new IP for the Xbox One, and I think there's this trial where you can try indie games before they're actually finished. So that's kind of a cool program. I think it's kind of a preview program for indies, which is pretty good. Ion, Rise of the Tomb Raider. So absolutely one of those games that I am really looking forward to. It looked phenomenal. The demo looks pretty damn fantastic, and again, I can't wait to play that game. It's a day one purchase for me, absolutely. They didn't really go into the whole timed exclusive thing, which, you know, is still a little bit of a mystery and probably needs some further explanation at some point in time. Rare really had an opportunity to showcase themselves. They probably didn't do it as much as I thought that they would, but they did highlight a couple of new things. One is called Rare Replay, which I think is 30 titles for $30 or something like that. And I think that could be really cool, particularly if you haven't had a chance to play some of those older Rare titles. But that is definitely on the way, and of course the new Rare IP, which is Sea of Thieves. So it did look a little bit like a cartoony version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but you know, I'm interested. It's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean meets Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So that's kind of the best way I can describe it based on the limited footage that I've actually seen. We saw a little bit more about Fable Legends, and of course another big one. We had Gears of War Ultimate Edition announced, which is basically a digital remaster of the original Gears of War. Plus Rod Ferguson from the Coalition finished the Microsoft conference with Gears of War 4, and I thought the footage they showed was a little bit interesting, probably a little bit quirky, not necessarily the traditional Gears of War footage that we probably would have expected. So I think they really held a lot back. You know, they've teased Gears of War, they've shown us a little bit about what Gears of War 4 is going to be all about, but they really haven't shown a hell of a lot of footage. So it'll be very interesting to see how this unfolds over the next few months, weeks, years, whatever. Anyway, so that's just games. Now, Microsoft jammed in a whole heap of other stuff. Most interestingly was the fact that they have officially announced backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360. So to me, that's pretty damn cool. You know, this includes digital titles and disc copies. So if you own a digital copy on the 360, you'll now be able to play that on the Xbox One. And if you've got a disc, you'll be able to put that in the Xbox One and play it. So to me, that's probably the announcement of Microsoft's conference. Absolutely huge. A fantastic thing and a fantastic win for gamers, so really looking forward to that. Can't wait for that to hit. A couple of other really cool things they did: an Xbox Elite wireless controller, so it's everything you love in all those really hyped up, souped up controllers that you get from people like Scuf. It's that, but it's kind of that on steroids. It's interchangeable, it's adaptable, it's customizable, and for me it looks pretty damn cool. So they've recreated the D-pad with that kind of a frisbee looking one, and that's interchangeable. You know, if you don't like that, add a new element. So that could be pretty cool. For me, again, I'll make sure I get one day one. We'll do an unboxing. And from there, it was some stuff about VR, stuff about augmented reality as well, and they showcased a Minecraft game that was specifically created for HoloLens, and some of the stuff that they're doing with HoloLens just looks absolutely spectacular. Anyway guys, how do I think Microsoft went today? I would give them, if I had to give them a score out of 10, I'd probably give them about an 8.5 out of 10, and that might seem a little bit harsh, but when it comes to games, I think they were a little bit conservative today, and I think that's probably because they just want to hold a few things back, given that they go before Sony. So if Sony drop a couple of megatons in their press conference later today, then I think Microsoft have got a few things in reserve that they can pull out of the top shelf and go bang, bang, bang. So there you go. Look, that's just my thoughts on Microsoft. It was a couple of huge announcements. For me, the backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360 is huge, because if you didn't own a 360, it automatically makes your library infinitely bigger. Probably not infinitely bigger, but certainly a lot bigger than it has been. You know, all those used games that are down at EB Games or GameStop or wherever you shop are now worth a little bit more, because I think you'll be rushing out to buy some of those classic titles that you can now play on your Xbox One. Anyway guys, it's about 5:40 in the morning. I've done an all-nighter to stay up and cover and watch all the E3 action. I don't know about you guys, but it's just my absolute favourite time of year. I'm completely exhausted, which is why my voice sounds a little bit strained. I'm actually struggling for words at this point in time. I think Microsoft did a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy. It's hard to call them a winner at this point when we haven't seen Sony's press conference, but I'm sure that both companies will deliver a pretty damn phenomenal results. Anyway, I'm starting to waffle on a little bit. As I said, I'm very tired. I'm probably about to collapse after this video goes up. But there you go guys, look, that's my thoughts. If you've liked today's video, please remember to hit that like button for me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and as always guys, get involved in the comments via the comment section down below. Alright guys, I will see you all in the next video.